please hit the subscribe button, hit that bell that gets you notified whenever I have a video on, and please hit the like button on this. Hi, hello, welcome to Traveling with Dave. My name is Dave McGowan. I am your host, and today we're going to talk about timeshares. Timeshares get a really bad rap. There's at least 5 different companies that are trying to help you get rid of your timeshare, get out of your timeshare resort, get out of this, get out of that. They claim all kinds of things, and today we're really going to delve into timeshares, what's good, what's bad, what's ugly, and how to use them. So that's my story for today, right here on Traveling with Dave. All right, let's get started with timeshares. So first of all, what's good? Well, you get a prepaid vacation at a really nice resort property every year, and it's at a somewhat fixed cost. And when I say that, there are all kinds of things going on radio and television and the internet talking about timeshare maintenance fees going up and up and up and up, and how it's really an uncontrolled cost and all of that. I have to tell you, I own 4 timeshares, and the oldest timeshare that I own I've had for more than 10 years, and my maintenance fee has gone up about $6 a quarter in that 10 years. And the other timeshares I have, none of them have increased in price by more than 5 or 10% in the past 7 or 8 years. So I don't think that's accurate. I think you have a somewhat fixed cost. I think the amount of money that it goes up each year is much less than the amount of inflation. And really, if you have a well-run timeshare that's run by the owners, you're in good shape. So the time when timeshare maintenance fees go up drastically is when it transitions from a resort that is maintained by a developer to a resort that's maintained by the owners. Because once the owners take over, they're not getting any money from selling new timeshares. So they actually have to pay the real cost of maintenance. So that's the big deal. So that's the good part about timeshares. Timeshares give you a 1-week vacation once a year, every year, fixed amount of money, and you're in a resort. You're in a place that's bigger than the average hotel room, so it's really kind of nice that way. What's bad? Really, the worst part about a timeshare are the people that get taken by unscrupulous timeshare salespeople at big timeshare presentations. They're high-pressure sales tactics. People really don't know what they're buying, and they're buying from the development company, which, like I just said, the development company keeps everything artificially low in terms of costs until it's time for them to get out of Dodge and move on to the next timeshare resort. At that point, the maintenance fees go through the roof most of the time. So best not to deal with that. That's the bad. And the ugly, you end up with a resort that you don't know how to use. You end up with high maintenance fees, and you have a burden to your family for many years because you've signed on to a loan to buy this thing that is unbelievable. So how do you do it? How do you get it right? Well, I'm going to start out by telling you that you have to buy it right. Now, as I said, I own 4 timeshares. I have 4 weeks of timeshare, and my most expensive week was the week that I paid the fee to transfer the deed. That unit cost me $300 because that was the fee to transfer the deed. And I bought it from a friend of mine who had 5 weeks and had 4 weeks of vacation, and said, okay, I have enough. Do you want this one? So that's how I bought it. The other 3 that I own, I've purchased on eBay. I bought them on eBay. The most I spent on eBay was right around $45 for a resort. And I'll tell you a little about that. I own 2 weeks at the Jockey Club in Las Vegas. It's right on the Strip. It's attached to the Cosmopolitan Hotel. There's an elevator from the Jockey Club, goes right into the casino area of the Cosmopolitan. It's a great resort. It's beautiful. It has all the amenities that I need. It's a little older, and it's the casino it's attached to is the casino at the Cosmopolitan. I was there with my first week that I own, and I was taken on a tour to be asked to buy another week. And they kept knocking down the price and knocking down the price and knocking down the price, as they do. And they got to $15,000 for 1 week every other year in a 1-bedroom unit. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Why would I buy that? And the salesman said, you will never get as good a deal as this ever again. These are going up, and as a matter of fact, if you don't buy this right now, we're not going to allow you to buy another week at this resort ever. That's what the salesman said. Well, I went home, and about 6 months later, I was looking at eBay, and there was a 2-bedroom unit available at the Jockey Club, and I purchased it for $45. Not $4,500, $45. And the moral is, never buy from that high-pressure salesman at the resort when you're on a tour. If you really like the resort, if it's really a place that you want to go on eBay. Look at eBay. And you know, if you don't find it on eBay, there are companies selling resort weeks on eBay. Go into their websites and see if they have the resort that you just toured. I bet they do. And I bet they have it for tens of thousands of dollars less than the people that were selling it. So that's first. Never buy it at a timeshare presentation. Always buy it at a discount. Always buy it from another owner. It's the best way to go. Rule 2. Make sure when you're looking at your resort that you buy a resort with a low maintenance fee. I know someone right now who had a timeshare in Hawaii, was paying almost $2,000 a year for a maintenance fee. Now, I own a resort in the same resort group as that resort that they owned in Hawaii. My maintenance fee is $800 a year. And I can trade my week into that resort almost any time I want, right through the same group. So why would I pay $2,000 a year for that resort when I can have my week and pay $800 a year? Makes no sense. So let's make sure you're studying what you're doing. Make sure you know what you're buying, okay? And there are a couple of things to think about here, okay? First things first, you have to make sure that the resort that you're buying has trade value. So if you're buying that resort in the mountains in Wisconsin, how many people want to go to the mountains in Wisconsin? It's not going to be the most tradable week that you have, so you're not going to get to trade that week into other places if that's what you're buying it for. Now, if you're buying it for yourself and you like the resort and you're going to go there every year, that's great. But don't buy a resort that's in a place that nobody wants to go to. And then you have to know about the time that you're using. So there are 3 things that happen, and you know, this is kind of the history of timeshare. When timeshares first started, way back when, it was a fixed week. And the fixed week was, you got week 25. That means that if you count the start of the weeks in that resort from the first week in January, wherever 25 is, that was your week. And that was the week you could use. That's it. That's the week that you have. And they were divided into 3 sections. There was red, white, and blue. So red was premium time. White was off premium, but not horrible. And blue was the time that nobody wants to go. So a blue week in one of those fixed week resorts was really cheap, but only you would want to go there at that time. And maybe you couldn't even go at that time, at which point you were buying something that you couldn't even use. So not a great deal. Then somebody came up with the idea of floating weeks. They said, well, wait a second. How about if we just sell a season? How about if we sell that red season, and you can go anytime in the red season, or any time in the white season, or any time in the blue season, whatever, but it's a floating week. And people say, well, yeah, that's better because, you know, my vacation may change from year to year. I may not be able to go on the same date every year, so that would be better. A floating week would be kind of nice. And then somebody came up with the idea of points. They said, instead of buying a week, buy points. And what we'll do is we'll assign a point value per day in that resort, depending on the time of year and the demand that we have on that resort. So the old red, white, and blue is gone, but replacing that, you know, your blue weeks, the weeks that nobody wants to go and aren't premium, well, those are going to be 500 points a day. But your red weeks, when everybody wants to go, well, those are going to be 2,000 points a day. And that's just a numerical example. It's not reality. It depends on your resort. It depends on how they structure their points. But that's the basic idea of points. And so that's the newest way to go. Points, sometimes you can get a whole lot more vacation time or a whole lot less vacation time depending on how many points you have and how many you want to use. Now the next thing that you have to work on is how do you use your timeshare? Because, you know, I have a sister that doesn't know how to use her timeshare. She has one. She keeps paying on it. She pays on it every month. She pays her mortgage because she didn't follow rule number 1 and she bought it at a timeshare presentation. But beyond that, she is making payments on a mortgage and she's making payments on the resort, and she doesn't know how to use it. So she doesn't understand how she can trade it to a resort where she is now because she bought it when she was in Florida. And so she's used it in Florida, but she hasn't used it here in California where we are now. So this is how you use it, okay? If you're gonna use the week that you own, just call a resort and tell them you're coming. If it's a fixed week, tell them you're going for your fixed week, and you go. And you use your week, you have a good time, and you come home. If it is a floating week, in January, call your resort and say, hey, I have a floating week, it's this time, and I'd like to make a reservation. And they're going to tell you when you can reserve a week in your time period. Sometimes it's right at the beginning of the year. Sometimes you have to wait until 6 months before your week. Your resort will tell you your rules, but just call your resort and tell them you want to reserve your week, and they'll explain to you how to do it, okay? If you're using points, call your resort, set up the week that you want to go or the time that you want to go using the points that you have, and they'll set it up for you. Now, if you're going to trade your week, then you're going to be tied up with RCI or Interval International, or you're going to be tied up with Platinum Interchange. So let's talk about those 3 groups. RCI, that's the largest trading group by far. They have resorts all over the world, and when you are with RCI, you have to join RCI. You have to list all of your timeshare resorts with RCI, and then when you go to trade one of your weeks for another week, the first thing you have to do is deposit your week. And then you go and request the week that you want. And if the week you want isn't there, oh well. You've deposited your week, so now you don't have your week. And now you have to find something else that you can do on RCI, and it may not be what you want, but it's going to be what you get. So that's RCI. Interval International, very much the same way, very much the same policy. Different group of resorts, but some of the RCI resorts and some of the interval resorts are the same resorts. So whichever group you belong to, it may not matter which one you have. Both of those trading groups have an annual fee. Both of those trading groups have different levels of annual fee. So you have, the basic fee, the premium fee, and you have the super, oh my God, this is really crazy deluxe fee. And they offer you different things. So maybe the resort that you want to go to is not available on the basic fee. But maybe the resort you want to go to is available if you have the super, oh my God, this is the greatest thing in the world fee. Maybe. So they tell you, well, maybe you'll get your resort if you pay this extra money. And then you pay the extra money and they say, yeah, sorry, it's really not there. So you've paid the extra money and really didn't get what you want anyway. The other option, though, is Platinum Interchange. Platinum Interchange I use probably 60-70% of the time. Platinum Interchange, no maintenance fee at all. No membership fee, there's nothing. You pay a flat fee to trade weeks. Sometimes that fee is extra depending on where you're going. If I'm trading from my resort in Big Bear Lake, California, and I'm going to a resort in Maui, then I'm probably going to have to pay double the fee because they call it a holiday fee or a deluxe fee that is there because they can, because everybody wants to go to Hawaii. And if you're paying that extra fee, it's fine. You're paying the extra fee. It's not that big a deal. And you pay it and you go to that resort. But Platinum does not require you to deposit your week until you've picked out a week that you want to go to. And any week that's available in their system you can have, as long as you have the unit to trade that works with it. So Platinum Interchange is the way to go. So in review, don't buy a unit at a presentation, number one. Number two, make sure you know that the unit is something that has value and is tradable. Look at what it is. If you go into the RCI site or the Interval International site and you just look through their list of places, you're going to look for the resort that you're looking at and see what it says. Does it have any emblems? Does it have Silver Award, Platinum Award, Gold Award? Is this a resort of distinction? What is it? Make sure it has something. Make sure it's just not basic, because if it's just basic, you're not going to be able to trade it with those companies. And finally, make sure that you know what your maintenance fee is going to be. Make sure that you don't overspend for your maintenance fee. So timeshares aren't for everybody, but if you know how to use it, you can get a lot of value out of a timeshare. I know, I own 4 of them and I enjoy them and I use them almost every year. So that's the way it is. Now, before I go, I'm going to ask you once again, please hit the subscribe button, hit that bell that gets you notified whenever I have a video on, and please hit the like button on this. And in the comments down below, please tell me what you think. Ask me any questions you have. I'm happy to answer any questions about a timeshare. I'm pretty much an expert in this. I've been doing it for a long time. I've had timeshares since the 80s, and I've used them all over the United States. I've used them all over the world, and I love my timeshares. So ask any questions that you want. Always happy to help. And hey, until next time, I'll see you on vacation.